SwimOutlet.com delivers the best online shopping experience. With an extensive selection and the lowest prices, you're guaranteed to find the product you need. Here's what you get. Free shipping on all orders over $49. Free 1 to 2 day shipping on all orders over $99. All orders placed by 6 p.m. ship out the same day. Shop at SwimOutlet.com, the web's most popular swim shop.
This is Race Day, sponsored by SwimOutlet.com, and we've just concluded Day 3 finals here in Omaha of the U.S. Swimming Trials. I'm Tiffany Elias, joined with Jeff Cummings and John Lone, and we're going to recap here the night's events. By far, my favorite session so far of the meet. Let's jump right in the 200 freestyle. It was the semis for the ladies and the final for the men. But on the ladies' side, Allison Schmidt, of course, 155 coming away with the win. Also getting that second place was Shannon Vreeland. Fulmer in for third with a 157.
Real easy 155, if there's such a thing, by Allison. Just controlled her semifinal swim. The thing that stood out for me the most in that 200 freestyle was the way Missy Franklin managed her race. Yes. She went 158.0. We know she can be much faster. She will tomorrow night. But 20 minutes later, she had the 100 backstroke final. We'll get to that. The key for her was to not expend nearly the energy that would be a waste. So she cruised, and that was very intelligent. It shows age beyond her 17 years.
I was a little worried, though, because I guess it was because how far Allison Schmidt was ahead of the field. I couldn't really gauge how slow the rest of the field was going, and so I was like, okay, you got to pick up just a little bit because you don't want to just squeak by. But yeah, absolutely perfect race management by Missy, and just being able to turn that around. I was actually timing it. It was a little over 15, like 15 minutes, 45 seconds from time she hit the wall to the time she dove in for that backstroke. Just really good training by her and Todd Schmitz.
And it's not always easy to, when a person like Schmidt goes out and sets the pace like that, while her game plan was probably to conserve energy, sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you want to go out with that person. So she really had to show discipline, and that was a terrific job of that.
Well, prelims and semis are so difficult to analyze because it really, finals is a whole different ball game. We saw quite a few swimmers double it up tonight. Missy being one of them. We'll come back and touch on her second one. Phelps was another. We saw Davis Tarwater with a couple doubles. So now getting into Day 3, we're starting to see all these events start to pile up, and it's going to be interesting to see how they affect. We also saw a handful of scratches this morning. Pelton scratched the 100 backstroke because she had the 2 IM. Beisel scratched the 200 freestyle for the 2 IM. So it's interesting to see the strategy play out.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on to the men's final. This was one of the biggest races of the week. It was a Phelps and Lochte showdown. This time Phelps coming out on top by 5/100ths of a second. 145.70 for Phelps. Lochte 145.70. And Ricky Barron's got that third place touch, still making it in relay, but 146.5.
Give credit to Michael. This is what Michael does. He answers any challenge. Going into that last turn, you figure Ryan's going to come off with a huge wall, and I know Michael has huge underwaters also. Ryan seemingly pulls a little bit ahead, and there goes Michael just grinding and grinding. You know he didn't want to lose that race. You know that was sticking with him from last year in World Championships when Lochte won the world title, Phelps gets silver. This is what he lives for. I mean, this is the guy who put the posters on his walls of people that basically challenged what he could do, and nobody likes to challenge more than Michael Phelps.
Yeah, I was really impressed with it, with the race, and just how they really kind of battled for that whole 200. But I was kind of shocked at the time. I was like 145.7 after. It was kind of like, that's it. And I don't know if maybe the way they were toying with each other in the race, like, no, I don't want to take it out, and no, I don't want to take it out. I'm going to hold back, and they both held back, and they probably looked at it and said, that's all we went, because obviously we got Yannick Agnel has gone 144. That's the gold standard they've got to chase, and of course Ryan and Michael probably are not fully tapered for this meet, so I know they're going to go faster, but it's still just kind of like, after that 407 400 IM, I guess I expected a 144 today.
I actually take it as an okay. I'm not worried about the time at all. And you just touched on it. They're not fully tapered. They're not going to be at full strength till London. So we know what they've done in the past. We know they're capable of 144. We know they're capable of 143s for Michael. So I'm not concerned that they're off their game. I'd rather have them hold everything until it matters the most.
I think it would have been exciting to see a 44, but speaking to Lochte after that race, he said, I've really felt sluggish in the beginning. He said it kind of felt like I was swimming a mile. So
That's a great mile pace.
Yeah, with that being
right.
said, it looks like he's got a whole lot left in his tank, and he even said, "I'm just going to keep building throughout the course of this meet, as we know the Gators do." So, moving on then to the women's 100 backstroke final, and this was just a blazing fast event. American record goes down to Missy Franklin, who swam that 200 free. Did we say 20 minutes prior? 58.85 for Missy Franklin. Rachel Bootsma grabbed that second place position and just touched out Natalie Coughlin, who didn't make it under that minute barrier, 1:00.00.
Yeah, it was kind of sad to see the changing of the guard happen. Natalie won't be able to join Dawn Frazier and Christina Egerzegi as a potential three-time Olympic champion in the same event. But I guess we kind of all saw this coming in the wings as early as last summer when Missy and Rachel went 1-2 and 100 back at nationals, going 59s. I think it was just really just a great strategy for Missy. You know, she didn't freak out knowing that Natalie and Rachel, that's their strategy, go out hard. And I just kind of knew that with 25 meters to go, it was going to be Missy's race. But I just did not see a 58 coming. And just really, especially after that 200 free, which
Must have warmed her
still,
up.
but yeah, it must have. But I would think it was still taking a little bit of edge off of her. But, you know, like I said, they've been training for this. So, you know.
She was like a freight train the last 25 meters. It was pretty ridiculous.
She said the tarp that's underneath the scoreboard kind of motivates her when she passes under it. So I think that was her motivation for this.
Yeah. Now, it almost kind of seemed like Natalie might have gone in that with a little bit of I'm sure she didn't, but I kind of got the feeling, a little defeatist attitude. I think she knew that was a very likely reality. But speaking with her afterwards, she's very excited for that 100 freestyle. So do you think she has top 6 potential there to make the team that way?
Well, you know, you gotta hope so. Everyone hopes so because everybody loves Natalie and everybody wants to see her on this Olympic team. We've already seen some people who are, you know, we're not going to see on the Olympic team, like Katie Hoff, for example. So, you know, it's just one of those things, like, it would just be a shocker to all of us if she doesn't get on. And I think she knows that, and she knows it's her last chance. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, she's always been there in the 100 free, but she's always been there in the 100 back. So I'm not going to count her out, but it just kind of we'll just have to see what happens, especially in that semi.
It's the nature of these trials. It can be cruel and ugly. As much as she's accomplished in her career, 11 medals at the Olympic Games, the banner girl for American swimming for, 8 years probably, and there is a chance she won't make it, and that just shows how humbling this week can be.
Right. So moving on to the next event was the men's 100 backstroke, and not an American record, but just off of the Aaron Pearsall's world record was Matt Griever's 52.0, followed by Thoman getting that second place position on the Olympic squad, 52.8, and David Plummer with third, 52.9.
It might be the most impressive swim so far at this meet. To swim the second fastest time ever in textile, to push what Pearsall went in 09, 52.0, and all of a sudden the men's 400 medley relay, where I was a little bit concerned a couple weeks ago, thinking, the Australians, the front half of the Americans is kind of shaky. You got Brendan Hansen last night, solid swim. Matt Griever is dynamite tonight. All of a sudden, my concerns, I'll walk out of here tonight feeling a little bit better about United States' chances.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt Griever's just really, I think he deserved that. And I think after not making that World Championship team in 2010, I think this has been about 2 years of him just stewing over that and just really just knowing that 2012 is going to be his time and letting David Plummer and Nick Thoman go to World Championships, get the experience, get the the feeling of now it's our time. And I kind of saw this coming when Matt went 53.0 early in the season. I was kind of like, but I didn't think 52.0. I don't think anybody, everybody always thought that 51.9 was unapproachable. Even when Camille LaCour did it, it was like that's a one-time thing.
I thought what LaCour did was going to be untouchable for a while.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I think when we saw how easy his 52.9 was from prelims, it showed us that the potential was there. So I'm really happy he actually got there because, like you said, that's going to really be some good motivation on the men's side.
And great job by Nick Thoman to get second. It's 52, 80 something. 86. That's a nice number 2 guy to have. And it's brutal when you look at David Plummer third under 53, Ben Hessen barely over 53 at 53.03. 4 guys in that kind of range. It says a lot about where the backstroke has gone since Pearsall left, and we were all very concerned.
Not to mention we still have the 2 youngsters in there, Jack Conger and Ryan Murphy. So next 4 years, we've got a lot of depth in that event.
Absolutely. That 200 back's going to be scary with those two in it.
All right, so moving on to the women's 100 breaststroke. Natalie Coughlin was an upset in the backstroke. However, this might be the biggest shock to everybody, was Bria Larson outdoing Rebecca Soni, who has been the queen of breaststroke lately. Bria Larson 105.92 to Rebecca Soni's 105.99. And another huge story and upset in this event is Jessica Hardy getting that emotional third place 106.5.
I'm going to look at the camera because I know last night I said Sony can't lose this. I was wrong. It happens.
And I said you can't, after seeing what Bria did at NCAA's, you can't count her out. She's just...
I'm shocked still, though. I'm stunned that Sony did not win that race.
It was
so credit to Bria for delivering on the big stage, for putting it together when it matters, for not being intimidated by a 1-2 combination, Sony and Hardy, that looked on paper coming in here as strong as there was in any event.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody kept saying pretty much when Sony and Hardy make the Olympic team, can they go 1-2? And then, we're talking about Yulia Efimova joining them on the medal podium, but now that's not going to happen. Bria Larson has had an amazing year. I don't know if any of you remember, she had a little cancer scare that kept her out of nationals last year. And so, she's been really kind of having an emotional road to this moment. And just, I just watched her, just staring in disbelief at that scoreboard.
Not to mention her swimming experience is maybe a quarter of everybody else's.
Oh yeah. I mean, Rebecca and Jessica, very proven on the international stage, and I think now what Bria needs to do is to just calm down, get into the moment, and say, I've gone 105.9. That's in the medal hunt, and just try to calm her nerves and not enjoy this moment, but just get focused right away.
Right. Well, and in her post interview, she said her coach told her not to be a fan. She's here. She still feels like a fan. She's in awe of all these swimmers. And he said, don't be a fan. You're an athlete. You deserve to be here. Mm-hmm. And her experience, she needs to realize you're now on the big playing field. You just beat Rebecca Soni, a huge upset with Jessica Hardy. And after seeing the American record at NCAA's, proving you wrong there and getting first, I mean, there's no saying that she's not medal contention.
Yeah, I think we knew the 2 Americans coming out of here, who we thought they would be, were medal contention. So the fact that she knocks one of them off, both
even
of them
better.
Off, done deal. She's in the mix.
Yeah, and absolutely. Just one more thing, Rebecca Soni obviously does not watch the morning swim show. Peter Bush always said, keep your head down the finish. Rebecca Soni did not do that. So another lesson learned in the breaststroke. Keep your head down at the finish. She may have won that.
And Soni said after that as well, she's really looking forward to the 2 breast. She actually said she felt a lot of pressure in the 100. Okay. So now she's like, pressure's off. I'm looking forward to a low stress 200. Mm-hmm. So there, I think she's just going to explode. Yeah. So looking forward to that one. Moving on to the men's 200 fly semifinal. Bobby Boyer with another impressive swim this morning in prelims was a best time for him. Dropped another half a second, 156.0, followed by Davis Tarwater, and Phelps coming in for third, 56.4.
That was very commendable by Davis to come out of getting 7th in the 200 freestyle, which would crush anybody, no matter who you are. And then to come back and really challenge that 200 fly and say, look, I belong in this final. I'm going to put it behind me. And that's what he said. It hurt for a little bit, but you had to put it behind him. And I think it was a little bit of fire for him, and it was great to see that.
And not just the mental difficulty in coming off of that disappointment, but physically, he took that race out so hard, and right from the get-go, and you're thinking, no, don't let that proverbial piano fall on the back. So give him credit for going out with a gutsy swim in terms of his race strategy.
Yeah, and he said in the interview after, he said there's more in the tank, which, I'd like to believe him. So
I think optimistically he has a lot more in that tank.
It makes sense, though, because there won't be a 200 free before it tomorrow night. So you would think he's going to be in the 155 range.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a great battle for second.
This is a guy who 4 years ago, that third place was crushing.
Yeah.
So this will be a nice redemption story.
And I definitely think Phelps did just what he needed to get by. He He just looked like that was a warm down swim
Shrug of the shoulders.
from his 200.
And I think
prior.
the crowd was probably like, "Oh my gosh, something's wrong with him.
Right.
What did he do? Did he hurt himself after the 200
Yeah.
free?"
Yeah.
I think a lot of people may not know that all they had to do is get
in.
a lane in the final. That was the theme tonight. A lot of people saying it after their semifinal races, just get a lane in the final. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot, especially in this 200 IM, the women's 200 IM. That's what they said.
Last individual of the event of the night was the semifinal for the ladies 200 IM, and it was Leverins on top, 210, followed by Pelton, 211, and Beisel coming in for third with a 212. Also in the mix there, honorable mention Ariana Kukers for
Now,
fourth.
So Leverins and Kukors swim next to each other in their semifinal, and Leverins takes it to her in the breaststroke, which she should edge her in the breaststroke, but Ariana's very good in that stroke. So I'm wondering how much more Ariana has, because I didn't think she would get beat quite like that. And I don't know if she was holding back a lot.
I got the sense she was.
You get a sense she was holding back.
Yeah.
Okay, well that would be obviously a real positive.
So you think, where's the race going to be tomorrow?
I think it's Caitlin Leverance and Ariana Kukers. You know, Elizabeth Beisel, again, nothing to lose. She's going to go
Right.
out with
Golden
them,
ticket.
just see what can happen.
All right, well, that should be an exciting one again. So that wrapped up today's finals events race of the night.
Men's 200 free?
Yeah, men's 200 free,
I
just
would-
because of the storylines behind it, all the hype,
Yeah.
and just the fact that it was stroke for 200 meters.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that is going to conclude the Day 3 finals here in Omaha. We've got 3 more individual events for Day 4 prelims. It's going to be the men's 100 free, women's 200 fly, and the men's 200 breaststroke. So make sure to go to Swimming World TV to follow our interviews throughout the course of this weekend. You can also check our recaps of each session. I'm Tiffany Elias with Jeff Cummings and John Lone. This is Race Day, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the Day 4 prelims.